Today I'm going to show you how to set up your Microsoft Azure Site Recovery Service, specifically with a focus on leveraging VMware. First, we'll start by going here to Recovery Services. Once in Recovery Services, click on the name of the recovery vault you've already created. On this screen, you'll see links for downloading the on-premises components. Clicking this will download a file that you can install in just a moment. In addition, we'll also need this registration key that we're going to download next. Retrieve these files and set them aside for our next step. I'm showing you here part of the screen that has a download link right here that we'll click on, and this is going to take you to the download page on VMware's site for vSphere Power CLI 6.0. Click here on the version number to expose the download link, and then choose the latest version available. At this time, it's 6.0R3. That's going to download, and we'll be transferring that over to our on-premises server as well as the software we installed just a moment ago. Just accept the license agreement here to retrieve the file, and we'll be on our way. The Power CLI piece is a prerequisite for using ASR with on-premises components to leverage VMware failover to the Azure cloud. Here we've transferred that download file to the server, and we'll begin executing the installer. There are a couple of components to this one that I'll just walk through quickly with you. Simply walk through the installer, taking the defaults to install the required plugin as indicated. Completing that installation will kick off the second part. This will run a bit longer, but I'll show you the steps here on the screen. Once again, stepping through the defaults for the installer is sufficient. Allow a couple of minutes for completion of this step. The installation is now complete and the Power CLI components have been installed. Now we're going to move on to installing the management server components. This is our only server, so we'll select the first option. Accept the license agreement for using MySQL. The prereq checker will run next. And now we provide a password for the MySQL root account. For VMware, we'll select Yes here and allow the installer to verify that the CLI has been installed properly. We can see that as well because the icons have been dropped on the desktop by default. Choose the location you'd like the cache files to reside in. Confirm the network card and port settings. And now browse out to the registration key file we downloaded with the management server software. Simply select that file to use the credentials. The installation will now run for some time. Upon completion, we'll be prompted to save a automatically generated key as a passphrase, as well as configure the accounts for connecting to our vCenter library. This part of the installation is going to run for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to speed up the next part of the video to get through that part. The installation of the management server components is now completed. When we click Finish, we're going to see a dialog box that indicates we have a password that we need to save. Now we're informed that a password has been generated for us, and we can save the contents of the clipboard. In the background, the installer is going to prompt for the next piece of information, but I'm going to stop here and open up Notepad and save what has been pasted into the clipboard. This is the automatically generated passphrase that we'll need to connect to our site recovery vault. I'll save that as a text file on the desktop, aptly named ASR passphrase. With that part out of the way, we can come back to the installation and complete the steps for creating an account. This account is going to be used to work with vCenter to query what is actually listed as a VM. First, we'll give it a name. This name is a descriptive text field that will be used later when configuring this in the portal. Provide the domain credentials and password necessary. Save and confirm. Next up, and I apologize, this might actually be redundant, but in just the interest of being thorough, I'm going to browse out to the credentials file for the vault and request that it register itself just to make sure this completed successfully. This prompt indicates that it has completed successfully, and we'll be verifying that in just a moment in our portal. Now in our portal, we're going to verify that it has indeed registered that server. Let's click on the Servers tab up above and look under the default configuration servers section. We should see our server listed here. It is hyperlink clickable, which will expose some additional information about the server, including the general health of it. In this case, I've intentionally only configured a single core on this server, so we're going to see right away that the CPU utilization is very high.